things in. Any need for an emergency appropriation of any kind? And the second part of the question is, obviously we're looking at possible rain today, and now the soil is saturated, and it wasn't yesterday, so things will run off quicker today if it rains again. So as a city, you think is fully capable to do what it needs to do today?
If I could address the first question related to appropriations, the answer is we don't know as of yet, that there has been some extensive damage, particularly related to drainage issues. At one point there were sinkholes being reported and collapsed streets, and that, to the best of our knowledge, that really didn't happen. It was a collection of debris that looked like a major event had occurred. And so we're still assessing, and hopefully within the next 24 hours we can give some further updates as it relates to that. As it relates to if there is more rain in a general way, we stand prepared and ready to move forward. Of course, we can't predict Mother Nature, but we are very proud of our ability to respond to emergencies, not only from a public safety standpoint, but from an operational standpoint. And so we do believe we have the resources. Not only was it the Streets Division deployed last night, but many, many volunteers throughout the city organization that typically don't work, and those departments stepped up to help us.
Mr. Noreen, let me just add that this is a perfect example of why we need a healthy, unrestricted fund balance. And as you know, I've been working with staff to increase our fund balance for the last year. And we were at an all-time high as of the end of December. We asked council to allow us to spend, I think, $3.2 million on police and fire and roads emergency capital replacements, but we're still at a unrestricted fund balance that is higher than any year in the past that I know of, at least in terms of modern history. So I think this is a great example where we need these reserves in times like these. We don't know the extent yet. We'll be with you with details as soon as we have them.
Hi, Maria Sanchez from the Gazette. Just to follow up on Barry's questions about flooding, I guess, what are some of the areas of concern in the city if it does, if a big thunderstorm does come tonight? What are some of the areas that are of most concern that might, I guess, historically have the worst flooding kind of areas?
Last night, the variety of rainfall, we have rain gauges all over the city, and the highest collection that we had, I believe, was 3.57, and that was T-Gap near Austin. Is that correct? And so that was where the 100-year storm records had been set previously. However, other areas of the city had very little rain or hail. And so it's difficult to say what are going to be the hardest hit areas from a Mother Nature standpoint. But I will say the areas that we know that have stormwater challenges are very well documented, and we pay particularly close attention to those specific areas and watch the rain gauges so that we can be proactive. I don't know if that's a specific answer to your question.
Do you know what areas those are that you specifically try to track and watch?
You want to, from last night, we do. The hardest hit areas from last night,
right?
Mm-hmm. We do.
Yeah, we have the list. Do you have the list, Rich?
I do.
If I may, we do a lot of things during those scenarios. Police and fire will literally park apparatus in those intersections to stop people from driving in them, because despite the rescue efforts that are actually in progress, people will come into those areas at times trying to get home. One of our fire lieutenants last night came with about 6 inches of being hit, actually in up to about waist deep of hail and water. But the reality is those intersections are Shelton Platte, Maitland Academy, which, by the way, is the center of Colorado Springs anymore, is Maitland Academy, if you can believe that. Constitution and Circle, 2 Academy, Union and Fillmore, all directions, Platte and Academy, Galley and Shelton, and Shelton and Corita. It was interesting because it stayed right over that area. It did not move, and it stayed right there forever, not forever, for however long it did, but we concentrated a lot of our effort right there to take care of those areas. What we're going to do today is we're going to get together, public safety and public works this afternoon, and talk about what if again tonight, to be a lot more proactive going forward on this and not just reactive on it. But the reality is what had happened last night was an emergent situation. It's what's a classic high-risk, low-frequency situation for us. And again, no injuries, not that we know of right now. no fatalities going forward. It should be something obviously to be celebrated for a success. But we're going to debrief it and get ready for if it happens again today.